Hello, and welcome to Covert Castaway. I'm Holly.
Je suis Stéphane.
Join us as we share what we learn and how we're making the transition to liveaboard cruising. All right, so we have special guests with us today, and I'm going to let them go around and introduce themselves. But what I want to talk about is really want to focus on what it's like to sail as a family. So you want to just introduce yourselves real quick?
Yes, hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Anwar.
I'm Omar. I'm Tamara.
And we are a family of 5, actually. We have our eldest son, Hani, who left for university a month ago. We live on our catamaran called Bayti. And Bayti in Lebanese means my house. Therefore, we're from Lebanon. And, our background, we lived all our lives in Dubai. And we decided 2 years ago to embark on an adventure. And we got this boat from the west of France, and we sailed it all the way to Turkey. And that's where we are today.
Yeah, and it's been great meeting you. You reached out to me through the podcast. I guess you heard the podcast, and we actually got to meet up, which is really awesome. That's kind of one of the reasons why we do it, is we get to meet cool people and hear their stories.
Yes, it is, and it was a very nice podcast. Kept me company during the COVID days. It was very entertaining, and thank you for that.
Awesome, yes. Yeah. So maybe just share a little bit about why you decided to go sailing as a family and what making that decision was like.
Well, we were looking for a while to do something different, to get out of the sort of corporate life and the routines that we were going through back home in Dubai. And we both like the water, and we learned to sail together as a family, actually, during summer vacations when we used to go to Egypt.
So you would charter already?
Yeah. We had a friend who had a charter company so we charter a sailboat from him. And that's how we started to sail. We really enjoyed it. And then we decided to take it more seriously and take our RYA courses. So myself, my husband, and my eldest son, we took that course. And it went from there, actually. And then we shared what we wanted to do with the kids. So we were also watching a lot of YouTube videos of other sailing families and sailing couples. And we just got inspired by those. And we prepared to do it ourselves.
Yeah. So when did you reveal your plan to the kids? How did that go? They're giggling over here, so.
I think it was around July 2018. That's when we decided to buy the boat. And we went to the boat show in Cannes in September 2018.
And were they with you?
No, they were not with us.
Okay.
We just went for a short break. And we decided to buy the boat then.
Yeah, cool. So what did you think when your parents kind of came to you with this? First of all, explain how old you are.
I'm 11 years old, and it was nice because exciting and
don't put words in his mouth.
You don't like to be in school, so
Exactly, and also here homeschooling is fun. It's fun here on the boat.
Tamara?
You can hold the mic, yeah.
I'm 15, and it was interesting because they told us after they bought the boat.
Oh,
we
they
have
did?
A boat.
So they said, we have a boat now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's an experience that you'll remember.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer going to school and seeing people, but it's something I'd remember when I'm older.
Yeah. So that part's hard, being away from your friends. Do you keep in touch, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi is pretty easy to get access to. And have you been able to meet other kids your age?
Not really, but it's fine. I'm fine here. It's fun on the boat.
Okay, cool. So what has the homeschooling experience been like? I mean, a lot of people are in the same boat as you because of COVID. But what do you...
it was a new experience for us because we hadn't gone through it before. I don't mind the teaching. I like that. And we're following a curriculum where the program is set for us. We just have to follow it, but it's flexible. So I can put my own schedules with the kids, and they can decide on which days they want to work and for how many hours. So I love that flexibility. So if they don't want to work in the morning, if we have some activity happening in the morning, then they can do that and study in the afternoon. So that's great. But there are challenges because there's no physical teacher teaching them. There's no students that they can share lessons with. So that's a bit difficult, especially for my daughter, because she's in year 11, so she's getting closer to completing high school. So she finds it a bit challenging. My younger son, Omar, is loving homeschooling. He loves the flexibility, and he has a lot more spare time. I mean, he can tell us also a little bit about that. He has more time to play sports or go in for a swim or do anything that he wants to do. At school, he had a lot more pressure academically to submit papers, and there was more deadlines, and there was more things that he had to commit to, a lot more than the homeschooling. So he finds that easier to handle now with the homeschooling.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic because on one hand, they say kids like structure. Like my kids needed the structure to kind of pay attention. But the homeschooling that you're doing or the boat schooling you're doing offers like a lot of flexibility. So how has that been, like balancing both the structure and the flexibility?
So I try to introduce structure so that there's certain timings where they're studying. So we say like we'll start at 9 and finish at 1, but it doesn't happen every day. But at least that structure is there, and I have a timetable, and we know what classes we're doing at what time. Mm-hmm. But then if we choose to change that, then it's okay. It's not a rigid structure.
Right.
But I do try and have some kind of structure because it's easier for them to know, that there's 5 days a week that we're going to study, and these are the timings, so that helps. But then the flexibility is great, and even a switching. So if Omar wakes up, doesn't feel like doing math first thing in the morning, then I say, okay, what do you feel like doing? Do you feel like doing science? So we can switch the subjects even around. Mm-hmm. So that's I love that part.
Yeah, we were talking about it this morning. We were talking about how in the U.S. you go from class to class, and then in between the classes, you're in the hallways, you're talking to your friends. Then you have to settle down. Then the teacher comes in and teaches the class. So there's a lot of inefficiency too, like in the regular classroom. What do you think of that?
I think it's like...
He goes around and he can like skateboard in between sessions.
So he still kind of blows off some steam in between. Yeah.
So it's like it's not always you study from this time to this time. Like sometimes if we're moving, we wait until maybe we leave very early at 6 and we arrive at 11. I'd start at 11. I wouldn't like study while we're moving, and it helps you when you're on the boat. Mm-hmm. So you have more time to do things.
Mm-hmm. And you like being able to do the hiking and the walking and the jumping and everything else.
Yeah, so
you're like a parkour star here. Yeah. Yeah. Talk a little bit about your little business you got going on.
Oh yeah, I have a baby business where I sell bracelets with paracords, and I have my cousin who is my partner also, and my dad's friend who's my agent. And yeah.
So it's a little way to kind of make money.
Exactly.
And learn the importance of saving money.
Yeah.
What are you saving up for?
I'm saving up for an underwater scooter.
Very good. Awesome. Cool. So, as a teenager in the U.S., it's hard for teenagers, I think, go through a specific, like a social situations that I think are unique when you're a teenager. So what is your feeling about being on the boat and maybe missing out on some of that stuff?
I definitely do miss out on a lot, but it's enjoyable, some parts. I definitely prefer school in Dubai because I like the fact that there are teachers and students, and I like the routine. Like, I don't mind it. But here, I feel like it's a bit more pressure because I switched systems. Mm-hmm.
And systems, what do you mean? From
American to British system.
Okay.
And I switched at a high grade, so it suddenly became really serious, and I'm still on a pretty low level.
Okay.
And it's a bit challenging because I don't have teachers. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm getting there.
Yeah. And so what's the dynamic like when you're teaching them? Because you have to learn the subjects. Yeah. I mean, maybe his aren't as hard as hers are.
Yeah, I think, Tamara's very independent. She does her own work. I don't get involved unless she wants my help. And she does. I help her with the planning, so we plan ahead what she needs to finish by when.
She never wants your help, though.
yeah. She'd rather do it alone, and that's fine. That's her way of studying. And she has her teachers in case she wants to ask them anything. They're always available. They're really, really helpful. For Omar, no.
So teachers online.
Online, yeah.
Okay, so it's not just you.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has online teachers that she can reach out to anytime she wants. Yeah.
Okay.
For Omar, I spend more time with him, so we sit from about 9 to maybe 12. I'll sit with him, and then he'll do anything else after that alone. But he's also getting to become a lot more independent, so he can start. If I'm busy with something, he'll start his work. He knows what he needs to do because the schedule is there. He knows what pages he needs to go through and what online videos he needs to check. And his material is easy for me, so if I need to help him, I'll just read up on it the same day or day before.
Okay.
And I'll be fine. Tamara's material is a little more difficult. I would need to really delve into the content to be able to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you guys do school year round, or like do you take the summer off like normal class, or?
So we have summer off and winter. They don't give us the holidays.
You have summer and winter off?
Yeah. But
Winter break.
yeah, winter break.
Okay.
Yeah, the break. So we have 2 weeks off. So my mom tries to like put us more work before the break, so we have the same break as our old school.
Oh, okay.
So I'm able to go out when I'm in Dubai.
Okay, cool. So what countries have you visited so far that you've really liked?
We visited Italy, Spain, Greece, France, and Turkey. And actually, my favorite one out of all was Positano in Italy. It was very nice, and yeah.
Why did you like that best?
Because it's like a very nice place to walk in, many stairs actually. And it's very, like at night there's so many lights, and all the houses are very colorful in different colors, red, green, yellow. So it was nice. A nice view.
Do you feel like being in these other places and you're kind of learning about the other cultures and the history, is that helpful, or?
Yeah, sometimes.
I can remind him. So, like we went to Rome. Obviously, we saw the Colosseum and the other landmarks, and we watched movies about them before we went there. Same with Greece. Going to Athens, and we saw old Acropolis and Parthenon and whatever. And we used to watch movies before going there. Gladiator and stuff like that, for them to see how people used to live back then. Yeah. That's interesting, right? Tamara?
What do you think?
What do you think?
It's definitely interesting. I don't remember everything.
Yeah, neither do I. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's because it's a lot of information. It's a lot to take in all at once.
And we're moving a lot, so I don't remember the small places we were in. But I can definitely tell between the countries.
Yeah.
And the food.
Yeah.
Do you think it gives you a better, just overall cultural perspective on different types of cultures and different types of people?
Yeah, you definitely learn about the culture and how everyone's different. And you can tell that, like, the people that live, they give a reputation to the country. So depending on the people you meet, you judge the country by them.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is not very right, but...
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but so far the people we've met have been amazing in all these different places. I don't know. So what is the scariest experience you guys have had?
I think it was when there were 2 times. Once when we were in, actually 3 times. When we were in, one of the places was in a marina where there was a hurricane and Ivalik, and there was a very, very strong wind, and actually a few boats sank.
Oh, really?
And that was one of the places. And the other one was when we had a Medicane. In Paxos.
And what was that like?
It was scary because we were actually on anchor in a bay. But yeah, it was a bit scary because there was very strong wind also.
So what was going through your head when you were in the boat in the Medicane?
I couldn't sleep.
What? You slept the whole time?
I couldn't sleep
Oh,
well because we were like tied to the marina, and then the wind would be blowing, and then the ropes pull us.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It blows and then pulls.
It jerks it back, yeah.
So I couldn't sleep well.
Yeah.
But the anchor stayed still, which was good.
So you were anchored in the marina? Is that
Yeah, it was actually a bay.
Like a pier.
like a
It was
bay?
a pier,
In,
yeah.
in Greece, they have the town keys. And
Oh,
the
yeah,
anchor,
yeah, yeah.
and
The med-mooring,
you-
yeah.
Yeah.
tie back.
So, and then after we lifted the anchor, it was still safe. So then my dad loved the anchor and he started trusting it so much. So he started anchoring and anchoring and anchoring.
So how much sailing experience did you guys have as a family before you kind of embarked on this?
Almost null, probably. I'd say we sailed around 5, or actually around 10 days in Egypt, day trips. We spent one night on the boat in Egypt, and then we just took our RYA courses. But we've always had boats, motor boats. We never had sailboats before. So we have boating experience, but not sailing experience. And I believe that sailing is something that you build up and you get to learn yourself.
It could take lifetimes, though,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
I've met people who are pretty old, and till now they're still learning how to sail. And, every boat is completely different than the other. So whatever we learned on a monohull doesn't apply to our catamaran.
Yeah. And how have you seen, your oldest son isn't here to kind of speak for him. Oh, you want to speak for him? Go ahead. What do you think he would say his experience has been?
Hani, he almost does like everything. He's always doing something.
He's busy
So-
or he's
No,
a big
he's-
help?
No, he's a big helper.
Yeah.
He always does the tie back ropes. He always does the dinghy, and he always helps with everything. So, since he was gone, it's also kind of an opportunity for me to help. But we still miss him, and he was a lot of help. And he would probably say it was very fun, and he'd probably say,
So he took a gap year, right?
Oh, yeah. So Hani took a gap year last year. He finished high school in 2020, and he just started university now. So he had a full year off.
Okay, so he graduated in COVID.
Yes.
So he was home anyway.
He was
Okay.
home. So, to mention COVID, COVID gave us also the opportunity to learn about homeschooling because we were in the middle of the school year when they closed down all the schools and they turned it into a homeschooling, online schooling system. And so we had around...
In Dubai?
In Dubai.
So that was the Dubai system.
Yeah, so we had...
Okay.
It's an American system. So
Okay,
we
I
had
see.
around 4 or 5 months of practice of homeschooling, which we've never done before. And then when we moved on to the boat, it was sort
easy,
of... It was
yeah.
much easier than, jumping into the deep end from day one.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it like to live in such a small space together?
We consider it quite a big place, actually. It's,
I mean, it's a
thank God,
huge boat.
It's a catamaran.
Yeah.
We do, but the kids don't agree. I find it very, very comfortable. I think in winter it's a little more challenging because it's cold outside and we have to stay inside. And the
Yeah.
inside is obviously for 5 people, and the kids are old. I mean, we're all tall. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of bodies in the house indoors. But otherwise, I think in summer there's a lot of space to move around. We can sit in the back, we can sit in the front.
We have a huge
So,
backyard
yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
a big swimming pool.
Very.
Yeah, but you have to compromise. I mean, it gives us the opportunity to see so many beautiful places. But there are spaces that, like the kitchen, I find tight. The bathrooms are, are also tight. But I would do that. I mean, I would take that anytime to be able to see all these lovely places. So, yeah.
You were shaking your head over here about the space. What do you think?
It's definitely a change. I can't enjoy my showers anymore 'cause it's pretty small.
And they're quick, right? You can't
Yeah.
be.
You have to turn it off and put shampoo and then turn it back on, which I never used to do.
But
Is that your biggest complaint, though? That's pretty good.
It's bad, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like a lot less space than the space we used to have. Like we used to sit in different rooms because it was so big,
Yeah.
but now we're all stuck in one.
Well, you have your separate space, though, right? Or-
Yeah, in the room we all have our own, but the room is just the bed.
Right.
So you don't have much space.
Right.
It's either the bed or nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I asked before if you had met many sailing families or other kids. I mean, you said no. Has that been an issue, or like, what do you think?
No, me, I'm fine. Like
You don't need friends?
I'm fine on the boat, but we met a few people. My dad's friend, he's a doctor, and he has 2 kids. And yeah, but the thing is, when I see kids, they're always like younger than me or older than me.
Younger or older.
But it's fine. I'm fine with it.
And they're with them for a short period of time.
Yeah, that's
So
hard.
usually, like a week. But we had a lot of visitors during the summer. The family came, the cousins came.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't like the cousins?
Yeah, I think that is a challenge for the kids. Finding another family that has kids within a similar age group and then staying with them for a long time is a challenge. So usually we'll meet people for a day or two, and then they're moving in one direction, we're moving in another direction.
Yeah.
So it's nice to meet new people. I think it's a great experience for the kids, but then it's very short-lived, though, for them.
Yeah. And then what about like sports? And I mean, obviously in the summer, everybody's swimming, and I mean, there's plenty of things to do, in the U.S., like giving up your sports team, or, these would be things that I think people would be sensitive about potentially. What do you do for like fitness and that sort of thing?
For fitness, I mean, in summer, like you said, there's a lot of water activities. So we wakeboard, we swim, we snorkel. We also work out on the boat. So I have an app. Myself and Omar, we like to follow the app, and we have our own equipment. I've got weights on board.
You do the
TRX
workouts
ropes.
too? That's cool. Awesome.
I've got my mat, so I can work out on the boat easily. Outside, sometimes I work out inside if it was too cold in winter, but I get the workout done.
Yeah.
But it is obviously a little more challenging than
You have to be
if you're at
committed to
home.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then if we're anywhere close to land, if there's a basketball hoop or there's a football field, then Omar will take his ball and go play there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you like CrossFit, right? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, not really. I just wait to go to Dubai and I work out then, because I feel like the space is very confined here. And I feel very watched if I just do it on the boat.
Oh, really?
So I'd
You're
feel
self-conscious?
comfortable
I
if
know. Sometimes I do yoga on the bow, and I'm like, is anybody looking at me? And then I realize I'm not that important. Like, no one's really looking at me.
Yeah, but still, it's a bit uncomfortable though.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So what do you think you guys are going to take away from this whole experience once it's over? I mean, I don't know how long you intend to sail, but...
No, I like it on the boat, and I don't really want to leave. Because when we're going to Dubai, we're going to stay for a long time, and it's more fun on the boat, because I just realized a few days ago that, like, what do you do in a house when you're bored? Because here, every few minutes somebody asks you to do something. Like, go fix the ropes, go tie the dinghy, go do this, go swim. But
so you're busy
nowadays-
instead of probably being on a computer game or something like that. Yeah.
So you're always
Netflix.
like doing something.
Yeah. I like that part too.
So you learn new things. You learn how to drive the dinghy. You learn how to open the sail, the jib, something like that. So you learn new things, and yeah, it's fun. Oh.
So do you think you would maybe want your own boat someday?
Yeah, I actually have a dream boat. These baby wooden boats, the ones that are like, I don't know, the very
Like the
tiny
pingas,
boats.
like the fisher boats, the fishing boats?
No, a sailboat.
Oh, okay.
But a very tiny one. Like exactly something like a hobby cat.
A Hobie cat? You can't really
Yeah.
live on that though.
I can. I'll make some space.
You'll need a bucket. Yeah. Cool. So what are your plans from here?
So you asked the question like how long we are gonna keep doing this. We tell everybody that we're carrying on until we stop having fun. As long as we're having fun, we're happy with it, right? So there's no like set plan. I'm gonna do this for 3 or 4 years, but we do plan. Okay, so for the next probably 3 years, we're gonna stay in the Med, build up experience, and the Med is really beautiful because everything is within short reach.
Right.
You can go from place to place within 3 to 4 hours. Unlike once we cross to the Caribbean, then you have to jump between islands, and some of them could take a couple of days of sailing to get from point A to point B. So, we're trying to enjoy the Med as much as we can before moving on.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of variety, in the
Yes.
Med for sure, without a lot of long passages, which is nice.
Absolutely. Even in Turkey, just Turkey alone, you can just go 20 miles, okay, and see completely different flora and fauna kind of thing. The topology is completely different from one area to another.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the last question is, what advice would you give other families with kids your age who want to do this or potentially want to do this? Like, what would your advice be?
The advice, I tell everybody, go follow your dreams. If you really want to do this and you can afford it, go for it. Don't say, okay, let me, make some more money and, for the next 3 or 4 years. If you can afford it today on a small boat, do it today. Because this is, don't let life pass you. Okay, try to enjoy it as much as you can when you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about
you?
Don't
wait.
I think with kids, maybe share what you want to do, your plans with the kids. Let them be on board, get them excited. I think when kids are younger, it's a lot easier. They'll get on board easier. It gets more difficult when they're teenagers and then they want to become independent when they're young adults. Mm-hmm. They might not share, you're saying the same idea of what you want to do. But definitely research it together, make it fun, and let them get involved in the planning of it. That will help.
Yeah. Do you guys have any advice you would give maybe parents who are thinking about it?
Probably do what you do, enjoy it, and live your life.
That's good advice.
And one thing, the journey isn't from point A to point B. It's the journey between point A to point B.
That's a good saying. Thank you so much for answering all my questions and helping other families really understand what they might be getting into.
And it was lovely meeting you guys.
Yeah,
finally.
it's great to meet you guys. And I'm sad we're leaving in a couple days. So
we'll see. We're working on this.
Yeah. Okay, so if anybody has any questions about this episode or other topics you'd like to cover, make sure to send us an email on sailingawan@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, like, or share with another covert castaway. Fair winds for now.